Hello and welcome back to another Classic WoW video. So today we will discuss the topic of Classic TBC and how it could be implemented to Classic. For example, they could come out with fresh servers where we will have to start all over, or they could implement TBC servers allowing us to copy our characters over to that server while also keeping a different version of our characters on a different realm or the previous realm, aka stay in Classic and repeat level 60 content. Or they could just give us TBC like an expansion, which is most likely what they will do. Either way, I will go through some ideas of how this could work, and list some pros and cons from my point of view, aka a goldmaker's point of view. Now before we actually get into that, Blizzard actually put out a survey, or more specifically they sent out an email to a handful of players asking for feedback on how they would prefer TBC rollouts to happen, meaning that Blizzard is considering TBC and they actually care about player feedback here, so this is when your output is really important. Comment on this video how you want TBC to happen, and if you agree or disagree with me, and comment on every TBC video out there so more people will see your feedback and there's a better chance of Blizzard receiving your opinion. Honestly, your feedback means everything here because it will determine how TBC will work. So let's start off with the non-likely way this will happen if you ask me, which is character copies. This will require way too much effort on Blizzard's end, and you know how things work over there. Minimal effort and maximum reward. If anything, they would slap TBC on us as an expansion and give us fresh classic servers later, which I will cover a bit later in this video. However, pros of this method would also be allowing people to keep their current level 60s at level 60, while also being able to experience TBC on that same character on a copy of it. It will also allow them to keep enjoying Classic as it is right now, without having to start all over again, and keep the rewards you've been grinding so hard to obtain. Cons would be a massively divided community, by some people hard switching to TBC servers, some people staying, some people quitting, and some people going to private servers to start again, and some people going to fresh classic servers since we know they will come sooner or later. Next up we have fresh TBC servers where everyone has to start from level 1. First off, this would be a massive win for the community in many ways. It would allow people who choose to level a Blood Elf or a Draenei to have a leveled playing field, since they wouldn't have to go all the way from level 1 to 60, while their friends are enjoying level 70 content, as well as they have people to group up with while leveling to 60, which is a massive win for new players as well. It would also give everyone that fresh feeling we know every private server player loves, but the most important thing, if you ask me, is the hard market reset. Right now, some people have hundreds of thousands of gold stocked up in liquid gold and investments, while other people only have mere hundreds or maybe 1k gold. Point is, some people will go into TBC massively rich and have control on everything they want on the market, while some people will have no way of obtaining the difficult to obtain items where they have to compete against the rich kids. A hard market reset would once again level the playing field, which could suck, but real investors and real gold makers know that this is in fact a win for them as well, since materials will then be dirt cheap and you can once again invest your way to richdom. So by doing fresh TBC servers you have a leveled playing field on gold, experience, levels, professions, and pretty much everything. It would also allow people to keep their maxed out 60s on a vanilla only server, making that character still relevant for classic vanilla content. However, I don't think this will happen, because once again it requires a bit more work on Blizzard's end, as well as I just think it's more vanilla-like to add TBC as an expansion. So let's talk about TBC as an expansion, aka Blizzard slapping TBC onto the current classic servers, functioning as an expansion. Pros here is obviously the fact that you can keep your hard-earned gold, your mounts, reputation, legendaries, character names, guild mates, and basically you can keep everything you have worked so hard for. Cons, however, is the obvious market influx, as I mentioned earlier. Without a hard reset of gold, people with hundreds of thousands of gold will have control of certain items and dominating the prices, allowing the rich to become even more rich. Another con is that even though you get to keep most of your stuff will also become useless in TBC. Legendaries become somewhat useless, or at least less useful, gear become useless, ground mounts become less useful, and more of a show-off thing in main cities. Reputation is kinda useless, and the only good thing here in my opinion is that you get to keep your profession skill, and you get to keep your gold, which to me is both a good and a bad thing, because of reasons already explained. Now, one thing mentioned on the Blizzard survey was fresh TBC servers where you start at level 58, although this would technically be a good option because you could wipe out the server economy and start at a higher level and don't have to re-level all the way from level 1. This should never ever happen ever. Getting a free boost to level 58 will make you feel less connected to your character, make you feel less proud of the level you've achieved because you get it for free. The rest of Astaroth, other than TBC zones, will be completely worthless, especially if you start alts at level 58 as well, and all of the classic zones will be dominated by bots. You're missing out on a lot of class training, especially for new players, and this is when I'm going to use a quote from Mad Season's most recent video about BFA, where he said something along the lines of, you know when you have so much work to do that you just end up taking a nap instead? This is kinda what happens in this scenario with that level 58 boost. You use it on a class you don't know how to play, you have 50 talent points to spend, you have 40 new abilities, you have class combos you need to learn, and it's just a shit show. Last point here is professions. Old world materials will be hard to come by, since nobody plays in the old classic zones anymore because everyone is level 58 plus. So with all this being said, what do I want to happen? Well, in my opinion, there's 3 options, and I'm not really sure which one I want to happen the most. They're all kinda equal to me, really. Option 1. Character copies to a new TBC server, while keeping the current server's classic only. This would be a good solution because it allows people to stay in classic, but also keep their progression on their character into TBC, like their mount, gear and so on. If Blizzard decide to go with this option, they should technically put a limit on how much stuff or how much gold you can bring with you on the character copy, but this would be very difficult to do because you can store gold into items and have bags and banks full of investments. This is where a market reset would be the best option, which is why I think Blizzard is offering the fresh servers with a level 58 boosts. Option 2. Fresh TBC servers while keeping the current server's classic only. This would be a very good solution because it would reset the market in the fresh TBC servers, while it would give everyone a leveled playing field, it would keep the old world relevant, it would give people leveling Blood Elves and Draenei a leveled playing field with everyone else, and it would incentivize grouping up and etc. for new players, and it would help new players get through their leveling experience. It would also allow for an entirely new leveling race, and the race from level 1 to 60 was something I really enjoyed both watching and taking part in, and I really would love to do that again. Once again, you could be an investor like me and enter TBC with 30,000 gold or more, but really, is that fun? For me, I could buy flying on all of my characters, but then what? There's no real feeling of achievement there because you get everything instantly. I would much rather enter TBC with no gold at all, but to do that, I'd also have to know that everyone else starts with 0 gold to make it fair. So a market reset is a big plus for me, to be honest, which brings me to the last option I'll discuss. Option 3. Fresh TBC servers, fresh classic servers, and keeping the current servers as they worked back in the days, so TBC functioning as an expansion on those servers. Pretty much option 2, but also with the addition of fresh classic servers. This would allow the hardcore player who just want to rush level 70 content and do max level content instead of re-leveling the option to do so, as well as those not interested in TBC to start over on fresh classic servers that will remain classic only servers until the end of time. Those servers will be expensive for Blizzard to keep up long term, so they should probably implement layering again at the beginning and keep it as few servers as possible. This would split the community into 3 parts, but what they could do then is merge servers after a while. Like right now in Europe we probably have 50 classic servers, but only 10 of them are really worth playing on. Fresh TBC servers would be sick, economy reset and all that good stuff explained earlier. Fresh classic servers would also be absolutely sick, but that should probably launch a bit later, so maybe a few months into TBC to not overlap the hype. One important note here is that they have to keep the new classic servers classic only, so classic fans would be incentivized to regrind one final time, which I don't think many people would mind anyway, because let's be real here, private service players have done this for years now, regrinding to level 60 approximately every 6 months when a new vanilla server came out. One last grind for an eternity of fun wouldn't make that many people quit anyway, and is probably the least damaging option if you ask me. Now this is the point where I'm going to ask you to slap that like button for TBC, and please, again, leave a comment about how you want TBC to be added to Classic. Do you agree with any of my options, or do you have a different option in mind? Please let me know, as I'm genuinely curious what the rest of the community thinks about this. Would you rather want to enter TBC with 20k gold, or do you want an economy reset? I will definitely make videos about TBC on this channel no matter how all of this works out, so stay tuned for that. But the guide-like videos won't come out for a while, since I want to really fully focus on Classic and Shadowlands first, and then focus on TBC, let's say a month or two, before it actually comes out. Gold guides and profession guides will come out for TBC like it did for Classic, and I also have a TBC investments guide coming out sooner than you think, just in case TBC comes out like an expansion, so you can make tons of gold in TBC by investing in certain items now. But I think that's enough talking for today. You're probably tired of my voice already, and I think I covered how I feel about TBC pretty well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, check out my Patreon for exclusive content, subscribe to this channel for Classic WoW, TBC and Shadowlands content, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.